Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is John with the Wrestling Fans Insight. You're listening to a special episode, Saturday Massacre, and we are giving our 2024 WWE Money in the Bank predictions on this episode. I have my co-host along with me today, Carlos. How you doing, brother? And he's out.
He bounced out on you.
I knew that chicken shit would run eventually, so... But while we wait for him to come back, he did give us a pre-warning. So, in fairness to Carlos, that was bad on us. Actually, he's back with us now.
Oh,
Pre-warned you that it kicked me out. I wanted to check to make sure it's streaming to YouTube. X. You should have started with Brian.
he introduced you, and yet you just bounced off. I was like, yeah, he wasn't putting up with you today.
Yeah, I was gonna say, God, man, I knew I'd get under Carlos's skin every minute, but Jesus,
It's like college all over again, huh? When you say hi and a chick bounces.
Yeah, that's right, you little bitch. Oh, I can't quite.
Hey,
do
now
it
we're getting
so.
we're getting a fine by YouTube here. Jeez.
Maybe.
I don't think bitch is a bad word, is it? Oh, well, John's wallet, not mine.
Well,
And we're
that's what
again.
I always
Hey guys, hey Davey.
Hey, Davey. I always mark the podcast as explicit because I know eventually Carlos and we're dropping an F-bomb. We just don't give a shit, so it's going to happen. But Carlos,
Welcome to the real world, kids.
Yes. How you doing, brother?
Better than I was this morning. I told you guys, I woke up at 7 o'clock, and again, I don't go, so, and we had no power. I'm like, shit, and I'm like, I got to do this. Luckily, the power came back on and the world saved, because it might have been the apocalypse in California.
I think there's a censor button because every time you were about to curse, it blurted out on you.
Oh, God's work.
Yeah, we also have Brian the Hype Ballard. How you doing?
Doing good. It's a big weekend for wrestling.
Yes, it is. And we're not going to keep everyone too long with this special episode. And Carlos just keeps bouncing in and out, so he's going to be the bouncy ball today. So let's get right to it. We're no doubt going to be talking about our Money in the Bank predictions. A lot has come on into the scene in this last week's episodes of Raw and SmackDown. And we're going to just kind of tie in our Raw and SmackDown thoughts too as we get into these picks. So without any further ado, guys, should we just go ahead and get right to it?
I'm
sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to go based off kind of an agreed pick on how we think it's going to go, but it's not necessarily exactly accurate every time. We're going to start off with the Intercontinental Championship. The champion, Sami Zayn, will be defending against the newcomer of Raw, Braun Breaker. I find this one very interesting because I think Braun's debut coming to main roster has been very strong. He's very dominant. He's kind of got the Goldberg-esque of timing of matches. However, maybe this will probably be his longest match so far for coming up on the main roster. Let's start with Brian on his thoughts for this match.
Yep. So I'm going to go with Braun Breaker to win the championship tonight in Canada. And I believe that, they're pushing him correctly. And I do believe that, they'll want to just push him strong and keep that Intercontinental Championship strong. The question is that turns Sami into a somewhat transitional champion within a short period of a title reign, debunking one of the longest reigning champion in Gunther. So where do they go here with Sami? Says, what's the plan for him? But I do see Braun Breaker going into Cleveland as the Intercontinental Champion.
All right. And as we're going along, hey, Jim from Fan of the Van, appreciate you coming on, brother. He's going with Braun Breaker as well. I think he pretty much almost sees this as much as the rest of us. And Davey, our colleague, Braun takes this and they send him on to a dominant run. I can really see that going with the way they've been building it. Carlos, let's get your thoughts.
Well, first of all, it should be Chad Gable that has the Intercontinental Championship. But anyways, I'll let it go. But I don't think that they do this match unless they're going to put the title on Braun. The biggest thing for Sami, I mean, he's already had his big moment with Kevin Owens last year and putting the title on him. He's had a good reign. I think just having Braun beat Sami in his hometown, like again in front of his crowd, I think that just adds to it. I think they could also use this as an opportunity to turn Braun face because I think the crowd's getting into him, and so I think if you have Sammy kind of just congratulate him and kind of put him over, at the end of it too, in front of his hometown crowd, it could be an opportunity to see how the crowd reacts. And if they react good to it, then that's an opportunity to have another big baby face on the roster with the title match. But again, I don't think you make this match unless you're planning to put the title on Braun Breaker.
And we also have our other colleague, William. He's going with Braun Breaker as well. So this looks like it's a pretty dominant clean sweep here. Braun Breaker ends up becoming new champion. If anybody else that's listening to us wants to throw in a comment, go for it. Davey's saying Braun should only go as far as a tweener, not a full face.
Agree. Yeah, I like that anti-hero.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. No, for sure.
Something to add on to what Carlos was saying about, going against Sammy and beating him in his hometown. I could even see a world where Braun goes against somebody like The Miz from Cleveland at SummerSlam and beating him in his hometown, kind of creating a little bit of I beat everybody in their hometown vibe. So they could do something to kind of build Braun up and throw these medium opponents at him in order to start doing that.
All right, let's go on to the next match we have up for bid. The 6-man tag between the Bloodline, the new Bloodline, versus Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and KO. Carlos, let's start with you on this one.
First of all, I was watching this yesterday, because there's been this talk about Jacob Fatu and how he can't go. They don't know if he can go across things because he's never really fought overseas and because of his back record. And even with the tape segment yesterday, I found it kind of interesting. I wish they would just add that to the storyline, like make a part of the fact that he's so bad that he can't even go overseas and go people because he has such a, he's so crazy. I just wish if they can't have him there that they make it part of the storyline. But with that said, I think Solo pins Cody in this match. I'm taking the Bloodline, and I think that leads to Cody defending the title against Solo at SummerSlam.
Brian?
So I do believe that the Bloodline wins this one. I do believe that Kevin Owens will be there, the one to take the pin. I don't know if we do pin Cody. I think they're going to heavily protect him as much as possible. But I do believe that the Bloodline is going to take the sweep here with them and get a solid win. They almost need it. They need it more than anybody here. So.
And I'm going to go ahead and mention William's pick. He's also going with the Bloodline on this. Let's go to a couple of the comments here. Jim from Fan of the Van, Bloodline wins this with the debut of a former New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler of Samoan descent.
Maybe Hikuleo he's talking about. I mean, yes. How are they going to bring in here? Jesus. Like an NWO.
Well, what was the tweet? Jesus, Rikishi, how many kids did you have?
His new son looks crazy. My gosh. The new one, like, yikes. Don't steal the big piece of chicken around that dude. Shit.
Yeah. And then Davey,
Bloodline.
Bloodline wins with Solo pinning Cody, but with the interference setting up the Solo versus Cody at SummerSlam that everyone has been wishing for.
I think Davey asked Santa for that too.
Did he sit on his lap too? And
yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure he actually did this right. So, yeah, I think this is another clean sweep. I think everyone's kind of going in the same realm. Triple H has promised some surprises, so we'll kind of wait and see where these surprises are going to enter. However, for me, I'm with everybody on this. Another clean sweep. Bloodline.
Who do you think's taking the pin in this one?
I would have to say it would have to be Cody. I mean, Davey's logic makes big sense there, setting up for Solo.
I said it first, but okay.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Jeez.
Gosh.
God. Yay, cranky bitch. Okay, both you and Davey's logic makes sense.
How'd you know my drag name?
Who doesn't know it by now? No, it does make sense. Solo versus Cody for the championship, and then of course I think maybe the surprise element. Of course, maybe Roman comes back and costs Solo the championship. Who knows? But if anybody has any more thoughts on it, go ahead and throw them up there. We'll get them up there as well.
I think we could get a little bit of a surprise run in. I would not rule out Jimmy Uso. Just he likes to appear in these, and it's not as big. I think they would save Roman maybe a little bit for later. Paul Heyman just went out and got sent to the hospital. I think he's still there, right? But I do see somebody else making an interference.
All right. Do you have anything else, Carlos? Or
I'm good.
all right, Jim and from Fan of that, Cody takes the pin to make Solo look stronger.
Yep.
To build up Solo and Cody at SummerSlam. Yep. Why don't we go ahead and move on to the next match we've got listed for the women's Money in the Bank. We have Io Sky, actually last year's Money in the Bank winner, taking on Naomi, Chelsea Green. I can't do it like Samantha. Tiffany Stratton.
Chelsea. That's what she
Yeah. Well, you had the perfect gay voice. So Tiffany Stratton, Zoe Stark, and Lyra Valkyria. William made his pick. He's going with Tiffany Stratton. Carlos, let's go ahead and get yours.
I think so. For this match, I think there's two possibilities. I think it's going to be Chelsea. I think it's going to be Chelsea or Tiffany. Even with the thing that Tiffany happened, she addressed it yesterday in the press conference, said that she didn't hear the volume on the video. I think especially with Chelsea, with Tiffany being with Nia Jax, I think it's all being set up for her to win the title at SummerSlam or try to cash in. I think it's Tiffy time. I definitely Tiffy in the Bank. I think sounds has a nice ring to it. I think Tiffany Stratton takes this one.
All right.
I want a pink briefcase. Damn it! I want to buy one.
Before we go to you, Brian, William also went with Tiffany Stratton.
You said that one already.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, I must be happy hour. It must be happy hour, guys.
Shut up. I'm tired. Anyways, let's go with Davey. Tiffany wins this, especially with her apology coming out the day before the PLE. Yep. I guess I missed something. What's that apology about?
There was a video, it was pretty much making some racial slur, bad things about Bianca and then black women wrestlers, I believe, and Tiffany liked the video or something or commented on it. She did something on the video. She commented on it and shared it or something. And then they made sure she brought it up yesterday on the pressers, and she was just talking and she apologized for it and said that when the video volume was down and she didn't hear what the person was saying on it. So she was doing her, her publicity rounds, apologizing for her mistakes kind of thing. So.
Okay. Now, not to kind of go off the rails, does this seem like it was a very genuine apology or?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think she comes across as a genuine person. Yeah, it was definitely a genuine. It wasn't like Hulk Hogan.
And I know that kind of came off as a shitty question, but and I have no beef with Tiffany either. It's just, for me, I know sometimes you get a lot of the IWC, the toxic kind that will kind of throw, sand at it saying, it's not really that genuine or whatnot. But, for me, Tiffany always seems like she's been a very genuine type person behind the scenes. And I'm sure
she has humility, and stuff like that. Yeah, her characters. Yeah.
We're all human. We all make mistakes. And, and sometimes you just got to realize something like that is a slip. It happens. Just don't be a douchebag and hold them down forever on it unless they are a total jackass. So,
and my 2 cents about it is I think that Chelsea was put in this match as a backup in case the things went too crazy with it. They could have put it on her, but I think with everything kind of cooling off and stuff, and with like what Davey said, I think Tiffany is going to get her rightful win here.
And Jim with Fan the Van, he's going with Tiffany Stratton. Say sleeper pick Chelsea Green. So, Brian, let's go ahead and go with you on this one.
Sure. Do we want to get Will's pick?
It's smart.
I ultimately, I think it would be entertaining to see Chelsea Green. I'm intrigued by that idea, but my pick is going to be Tiffany Stratton. I think, I look at these matches and I say who ultimately could potentially be champion a year out. And obviously I think Tiffany Stratton is a little more built for that, out of, a lot of the other options. So that is going to be my pick. Tiffy time.
Yeah. And apparently I'm the oddball out on this one because I felt the fanboy in me felt this was a little bit unpredictable with both Money in the Bank matches, honestly. I and apparently it's just something I'm not seeing as strong as the rest of you because I went with Io Sky on mine, just because I could see that
A
rematch.
double winner.
Yeah, I mean,
Did
who
you
else?
did you have Japanese food for dinner last night?
Probably.
Well,
Well, no, I didn't. No, I just think it would be interesting to have a rematch, but I'm not sure if that's what the rest of the fan base wants
Mhm.
either. But I can definitely see, Tiffany or Chelsea definitely winning that briefcase as well. I just don't think it would make sense for Lyra to win it. We just already had Naomi and Bailey not too long ago, and Zoe Stark. Unfortunately for her, great talent, but for whatever reason, the fans are just not behind her. So yeah, I think that's where we're at with it for right now. Davey Lyra is also built for a year out champion, possibly. Unfortunately, I don't think she's getting much of the fan reaction as she should, though. So we'll see what happens in a year.
I will say on that note, they like her. Like the WWE really, I mean, they gave her a strong King of the Ring outing or Queen of the Ring for her. And I mean, they definitely like her, and I think they like the idea of her. I'm not as drawn to her
But
work.
I also think it was out of necessity because they didn't really address their roster when they did the draft, and they lost Rhea, they lost Becky, they lost they lost I think someone else too. So it's like they should have addressed it, then with them what's her name Raquel Gonzalez going out with her things too. It's like they don't have any faces, so they have to build her up because they really don't have anybody else, So I think it's one of those things where she's benefiting because they don't really have any strong face women there, so they're having to like put everything behind her. I think it's a circumstance kind of thing because she
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, it's like watching me. She just doesn't have that. She doesn't have that it factor, but I'm rooting for her.
Well, and the other reason I was going with they really like her is they've made her rub elbows with Becky Lynch. They're not just giving that to anybody. So, they've booked her pretty solid and they've made her rub elbows with obviously a very formidable champion and next champion in Becky. So I see that, and it wouldn't shock me if they went that route tonight, but I just don't know if people would grab onto it yet.
And Davey mentioning Lyra has a very natural way about her and how she speaks and presents herself. And she does. We've seen that with her in NXT.
Yeah, so I mean, you understand why they're behind her because she's a professional. She gets it. Like she's a total package, but just has to get the fans behind her too. I see why the machine's behind her.
All right, let's move on to the men's Money in the Bank match. This one's got a really good one here. LA Knight, Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, and Drew McIntyre. Again, my fandom says this one's been a very unpredictable one. I'll start off with my pick. I've got Drew winning this one. Brian, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Jey Uso. I believe him holding that briefcase will give him something to focus on in the next year. I feel like Drew is very capable as well, of course, but for some reason I'm just gearing towards Jey Uso having something to work with in the next year, so I'm going to pick him.
Carlos?
I have a quick question for you guys. We talked about kind of integrating SmackDown and stuff like that yesterday. Would you guys have cared to see like a 6-man tag match featuring all the participants yesterday instead of the interview segment?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I did.
No, I'm just wondering. I mean, it's old and tired, and it's been done again. Like, can they coexist? But I was just curious, like if you guys if that's something you would have cared to see yesterday or not.
Well, I'll explain. To me, it's just cliche because we see that.
All the time. Yeah.
I mean, if you do that, you're going in autopilot, and I think that's why WWE for the last year and a half has gotten better. Is they're starting to try to get out of that autopilot mode and change it up. This is where I kind of think when we discussed last week about Forbidden Door, when Brian asked us how we like the build-up, I think that's where I was trying to say was I think AEW has gone too much autopilot. It's time to just kind of change it up a little bit and try different things to build things up. And I think WWE did a better job with it this year with the Money in the Bank and the other PLEs going forward. And I hope they continue to do that.
So with this one, like here's like I was at first like when I first started this, I totally thought Jey Uso. But the thing that WWE, like I talked, me and David talked about this in our spaces, is right now they're about to get something that they've always wanted, and that's Roman Reigns as an ultra babyface, like super over. And so I feel like when it comes to them being validated and being right and getting their person that they want to get, it doesn't really matter what the carnage is. Like it doesn't matter at the end, because as long as they get the one thing that they want, they don't really care about the after effects of that. And so with that being said, I think that if Jey Uso has Money in the Bank, it has an opportunity to outshine Roman a little bit with that, or the possibility of that. And so I feel like, unfortunately, with Roman coming back as an ultra babyface, Jey Uso is going to be just put as his Robin, as his little sidekick to go against the new bloodline. So I don't think Jey Uso is going to win that. I also think that they're very set up with what they want to do as far as the world with the two title pictures. I don't feel like they need a cash-in person there to kind of be in the background to kind of to propel somebody, because I think they have an abundance of people they could put the belts on. So with that said, I think Drew is going to win, and I think Drew tries to cash it in at the end of the night unsuccessfully, and with the CM Punk interference to foreshadow what's going to happen on later on. But I definitely see Drew winning this, unfortunately for Jey Uso.
Yeah, and with Jim from Fan of the Van, he's saying this one's very tough. Everyone wants Jey Uso, but Drew winning it so much can happen with him and Punk, but he's going yeet. So, wow, this is
he's still going with Jay.
Yeah, it looks like he's still going with Jay. Let's go with Davey. He's saying the walking, talking catchphrase will be your winner.
Jay.
I was going to say, thanks for keeping that short, Davey. And William, he's going with LA Knight. Yeah. So William's got a different perspective from
the sentimental pick.
Yep. Jim going along. WWE got better because Vince is gone and more fresh ideas. Again, yes, that's where they've now gotten out of the autopilot mode and starting to realize, it's time to change things up and move along.
Something I want to throw out there too with this Money in the Bank match, that we're not maybe gearing towards or thinking is, who has the ability to jump from brand to brand with this case. So that also can make a case for a wrestler as well to win it, and who could we see going to Raw or going to SmackDown with the case due to that clause in there.
As corny as it sounds, maybe Jey Uso does win and
so it makes sense. Yeah.
No, that wouldn't happen. I know better. Let's see. I think I got everyone's pick on that. Yes, we did.
You haven't given your pick yet. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I said Drew.
No,
he did. Yeah.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay.
Yeah. See about people who pay attention now.
And part of me too is I also think like I don't think that Drew and CM Punk need this for their feud, but I think it's the WWE way to overdo it and saturate it and add one more layer to it. So that's again why I think Drew's winning, because they gotta add a little bit more, even though they've done more than enough.
Well, we have to intensify the heat. I mean, maybe what happens is Drew gets ready to grab the case. AJ Lee comes out and does her little, goofy chick persona and pushes Drew down. Who knows?
I think CM Punk's gonna be like, I think he's gonna be like a cameraman or something. He's gonna be ringside with Drew Cash. I think there's gonna be someone. He's gonna be disguised some way. I promise you that. He'll be in the prime bottle this time. Who knows?
Yeah. Here's what they're going to do. It's going to be a 3-minute matchup, and the WWE Speed Champion is going to win this thing within 3 minutes.
How rude was it to say about him crossing? When they made the border comment, Andrade comes up like, how rude was that?
Well, the funny thing was he said it to Jay, but it's Andrade that took offense to it. I'm like,
Andrade comes out like, border? What are you talking about?
Oh Lord!
How dare you,
Davey? Jay wins, cashes in on Andrade. That'd be hilarious.
That's the time. I'm gonna add prestige to the Speed Championship. It'll be a 6-minute match now.
Shit. Sorry, have to compose myself now.
He recalled the Yeet Championship. They let him totally go with it.
Yeah,
Bring the Yeet spinner belt.
The speed spinner.
All right, let's move on to what we feel should be the main event. I would hope for any promotion.
It is, according to
For the
Fightful.
WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Champion Damian Priest defending against Seth Rollins. And there's a lot more than just the championship on the line. If Damian Priest loses, he's out of the bloodline. If Seth Rollins loses, he will never challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Was that as long as Damian Priest is champion?
Yeah,
Okay.
as long as Damian's champion. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So, yeah, there's quite a bit on this and very interesting. I think we're in for a surprise after the match, too. Who knows? Just depends where the Money in the Bank match lands in the card. William, he went with Damian Priest retaining. I know Davey's going to have a little bit of a winded response on this, so as soon as it comes up, we'll throw it on there.
Yeah, thank you for being in the comments, Davey. So we didn't have to like keep all the notes of your previous stuff. Like we're like, thank God. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's hard for me to read that small Twitter screen on my phone too.
With my contacts in, I'm like, I know my eyes are supposed to be good with contacts, but they're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. So let's start with let's go to Brian for the next one to make his prediction here.
My pick for this one is that Seth Rollins wins. I want to be very clear, though, that doesn't necessarily mean he's walking out champion. I think you could get a champion's advantage situation here. But I do believe that Seth Rollins will win the match, whether that is with or without the title.
So just out of curiosity, if he wins it, say like by count out or, disqualification, does that stipulation go away as far as him challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship again?
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about wrestling, right? Because now that leaves it open to conversation and opinion and something that they'll have to go back to the general manager and say, well, technically, what did the contract say? And they can play into that, which could set up a SummerSlam rematch or even a triple threat option, that kind of stuff. So.
Right. And here's Davey's response. Seth and Priest will not have a definitive winner, setting up a 3-way at SummerSlam with King Gunther from the Kingdom of Raw.
Yep, I like that.
So, in other words, Davey's calling a draw here. Carlos, your reaction to that?
I don't think you end the pay-per-view with a draw like that. I just don't. I don't think you do that. I think that would be a very bad look for them. I respect. I mean, I like where he's going. I just think that, like, again, I hate the man these days, but like something that Cornette says is like lazy booking, right? And I think this is being booked very easily for them. Like, even though I don't think that they needed to have Damian lose in order to get kicked out of the bloodline. I think with the stipulation being added that if he loses, he has to leave the bloodline. I think I could just picture Finn like egging them on, like, why'd you do that? Now you're gone. I could just, everything to me, just this all plays to them getting like a lot of storylines getting going. I see Dave, they've been foreshadowing Damian as a face, with the way he's been, not wanting help, telling the Judgment Day to stay behind. He's doing a face turn with Rhea eventually joining him. I think Seth wins. I think it's sad because I think they could have had Damian as a better champion defending his title on Raw. They could have used that kind of storyline too. But I think it's going to be Seth going into SummerSlam. I think that Gunther is also going to be. Again, we'll talk about that next time. But I just don't know if Gunther is a lock to win that title at SummerSlam anymore, because with CM Punk being back, I think they eventually want Punk and Rollins again. But I see Rollins taking this match. I think Rollins versus Gunther is more of a premier match at SummerSlam. I feel bad for Damian, but it is what it is. He got to be champion. And again, I look forward to seeing what he does as a babyface. But yeah, I'm taking Seth to win this one.
So Jim from Fan Van saying Damian Priest retains. Let's see how far this run can go. He's improved a lot. I think Damian's always had the talent. He just needed
Yeah.
something better for his character.
And I finished my thought. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. No, sorry. I thought you were done. My bad.
I forgot to say this, but I do think that Drew wins. I think he tries to cash in on Seth unsuccessfully, and that's where we get CM Punk coming back again to spoil the cash in. Sorry, I forgot to add that part.
All right. Sorry about that, brother. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I thought I was done too, but then after we started, oh shit, I forgot to mention this part. Because I think, like, again, back to them, I think they're showing their cards by having this match be the main event. I think it's showing, to me, like, knowing thinking that I know they're booking it, just to me, it shows me what way they're going to go, in my opinion. Again, I'd love to be wrong,
And I'm never afraid to be wrong either. I never called these completely right either, but it happens. So we actually have a new listener here that's kind of commented up Blip News. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
She writes, Damien is going to win, and then Money in the Bank winner, either LA Knight or Jey Uso will cash in right after that. Seth's ban will last 2 minutes. Also writes, it adds double emotion to the match. People will be devastated and then excited. The ban went away so fast. Your guys' reaction to that?
Yeah, I like the idea of an end of the night cash in. And I do think that makes a situation where the championship match could end on a controversial, count out, disqualification, because we're still getting another match, so to speak, at the end of the night. So I don't think that would be taboo, and I like that idea. So, and again, thank you for chiming in there, Blip News.
I like it. I mean, again, I'm like, again, like, I don't want to be right on some of these. I want to be surprised. I want to see the underdog win. Like last year, none of us thought Damien was going to win. Nobody picked him. So, like, I think it adds to the events when you expect the unexpected. So I'm all for that too. I would love to see it. But I don't think it's going to happen. Like, I think, again, I feel pretty strong with just seeing what they're doing. But again, I'd love to be wrong.
All right. I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this episode of Saturday Massacre. Before we get going too much further, let's get into some final thoughts here as far as the card. And I got to throw in Davies. John Cena in town. So do we think we see him on screen, even though we can't see him? Not sure. Depends.
He's in town. He's probably there whoring himself out to try to get WrestleMania in Toronto, trying to get some more money for them.
Maybe he'll be that last surprise.
Show the nipples, John. Show the nipples.
Maybe he'll be that last surprise for men's Money in the Bank, like Brock Lesnar took it away from Mustafa Ali.
Oh, Jesus.
Something else, just a side note to that point. He may be in town, but I mean, that also could be film related. Toronto is definitely a big filming area. I don't know what his film schedule's like, but I mean, never say never, But WWE can always show up at any time.
And that could be the surprise. Maybe he's coming back to announce that he's when his last run's going to start too. You never know, because he says he wants one last run.
Yep.
All right,
guys. Do you guys have any surprises that we get tonight? Do you guys think we get anything? Because do you have any predictions for Triple H's big surprise?
I know mine's very far fetched because, unfortunately, rest in peace. It is Sika's funeral today. The only surprise I would really go bonkers is if Roman Reigns came in and laid the smackdown on Solo, but we definitely know that's not going to be happening tonight.
Yeah, I do like what Fan of the Van was saying about Cena appearing in the 6-man match. I could see that playing out to help balance. He's kind of the good guy that shows up and helps the other good guys. I'm just going to kind of go with an out there take and say Jimmy Uso could be in play for that match as well. So that's kind of like mine, and I could see happening without too much of I don't know if that's a big surprise, but it is a surprise.
I think Jimmy coming back foreshadows that Roman's coming back, which is what they want to do. I think I could easily see that too. Yeah.
All right. Before we take off, why don't we go ahead and give some shout outs? Brian, you have any shout outs to throw there?
Yeah, just shout out everybody on Twitter, everybody that supports us, and Blip News, Davey, of course, our teammate, and then Fan of the Van podcast. Thank you guys for joining and chiming in. It added to our conversation, so I appreciate you guys doing that for us.
Carlos?
I'm going to just shout out Wrestle Dad's part of our group chat. Just a fun dad enjoying wrestling with his sons. If you go look him up on his podcast, he got Vinny Pacifica, which is a big get. I think it's a lesson for us too. All you can do is ask people. All people can do is tell you no. And just supporting him. Thank you, Fan of the Van. We laugh, we learn. Big supporters of us as well. Just anyone who supports us on X, anyone who retweets us, likes our stuff. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And just before I give my shout outs, I want to say any of you who do follow us there on Twitter, you see our handles right there on the bottom of our screen. We do have a private group chat on Twitter as well. We welcome anybody who is a wrestling fan and very respectful and very positive in the IWC. We don't really pander to the tribalists. So if you're wanting to come in and chat with all around wrestling fans and like to have the positive engagement, feel free to hit up either Brian, Carlos, or myself, and we'll look at getting you added to the chat. As far as my shout outs go, I got to always throw them out to my big time supporters. Jim over at the Fan of the Van, he shouts us out just about every episode he does. Be sure to go check out his content. It's very blunt, very real, 100% takes, and he don't give a shit. He might even punch a Keebler elf if you request him to.
Knock out.
And every once in a while, Whitey Duvall makes his appearance. I haven't heard Whitey. He must have got stuffed in a trunk or something. But
Oh, good Lord.
there's also there's also the Steel and Teal talk. Is this a bad take? Two Dudes Sports News. Ted's Takes on YouTube by yours truly, Ted the Hillbilly Hill. Please go check him out. And also wanted to say thank you to Ted for the encouraging words while I was working on getting my Class A CDL upgrade done. He really had some support there for me. Aaron over at Brutally Honest Sports. If you ever plan to go visit Vegas in the near future, I really encourage you to go check out his podcast, Visit Vegas Places with Coyle. He does a lot of interviews with the local businesses, and you can find out what's going on in that area. So be sure to hit him up if you ever need some recommendations. And we do have another comment from Davey. Don't forget to follow Stampede Sports Select and watch our match with Christopher Judas and Samoa Joseph this Wednesday. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys follow Stampede, I think he's going to do a space later on tonight. So definitely support him.
Yeah, please definitely go support him. Go join him. I'm sure more than likely I will be getting in there as well. Not sure if Carlos is going to make it tonight or not.
I won't be because I'm trying to avoid the spoilers tonight, so I won't be on there, unfortunately.
All right, so sorry, sorry, Stampede. I guess Carlos is going to be the fun hater tonight. So, but
thanks, guys.
We will be back again for Sunday Takedown tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we will be given our predictions for NXT's Heatwave PLE. It is a double feature this weekend, so
and then we'll discuss the results of tonight, right? Yeah.
Yes, and we will discuss the results of tonight just before we give our predictions. So, again, this is John with Carlos and Brian. We all wish you well. Please have an enjoyable evening. Remember,
and have your pens faded in your.
Please remember to support all wrestling, not just WWE, AEW, TNA, but every one of them out there, especially those independents. And before we go, any last ones?
Nasty Leroy. I want to shout out Nasty Leroy.
Oh, yeah.
Independent wrestler, always supports us. He comes on our spaces and gives insight to the wrestling business. If you see that man in your town, go support him, please.
And Davey mentioned for his X Space tonight, we'll be going over Money in the Bank and Collision tonight in the Space Elite.
Space Elite. Woo.
So if you like to talk both, definitely go check him out. He's very knowledgeable with everything he brings to the table. And without any further ado, we're going to call it a night. Again, enjoy the PLE, and we'll see you tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time.